one NFL coach will be home for Christmas. Who's going to join him? And will his quarterback be able to pull out of it? Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels. Who was the right decision? Have the Jets already crashed and burned? And when you look at the standings, what's going to change? It's October 15th. It's Martin and Monaco. So, again, Alex, for the third year in a row, I will be holding the ticket for second coach fired. As Brian Callahan snuck up on me, got fired earlier this week. And that's one of my favorite bets to bet on is first coach fired. Last year, I had Nick Sirianni. So you see how that turned out. I don't think it'll turn out the same way for Mike McDaniel in this go-around. But it's one of my favorite bets because, I don't know, it's a fun way to pay attention to the bottom of the league.
Oh, absolutely. I thought the McDaniel one was tracking the way the boys started down there in the 305. They just found a way to eke out a little here and there. The Carolina loss was troubling. But, we talk about it off air, on air, Martin. If you're on one side of the football as a specialist and that side of the football isn't delivering, it's a little glaring. I wanted to see Callahan have a little bit of patience. But talk to me with not just being bottom 2 in points per game at 13 and some change. They looked not that buttoned up, a lot of penalties, a lot of situational lack of awareness. It just doesn't seem like Cam Ward's the issue. It seems like Callahan's not putting him or wasn't putting him in positions to succeed. And I think Tajay Spears on the IR to start hurt a lot because I don't see Tony Pollard as a bell cow back. In addition to not a ton of skill players. I just was really hoping scheme would have looked better. It just didn't.
The problem with Cam Ward in this situation was the same problem that Caleb Williams had in his first year. The environment that they were in is not conducive for success. Like, if Cam Ward got drafted by the Commanders and walked in with Cliff Kingsbury and Dan Quinn on the back end coordinating the or head coaching the defense, I should say, then maybe we'd be looking at an entirely different situation. Right now, I don't know what Cam Ward is because what I do know is he's right. That team is ass. That team is ass across the board. And, it's bad when the Las Vegas Raiders are saying that's the least buttoned-up organization I've ever seen. And when Jeffrey Simmons came out post-game and said we had our worst week of practice, you knew things were – it was the writing was on the wall. Just like the writing's on the wall for McDaniel with Tua coming out and saying it's on the leadership.
Yeah, I wonder on that thought of the McDaniel element. You come off a guy like Flores buttoned up, unbelievable scheme, dude, and then you look at Vrabel. I think he's a certified leader of men. He's the size of all these guys. I mean, this guy was in the crouch position ready to run through a Buffalo Bill a week ago on Sunday Night Football. How do you even take half those guys from that locker room? I mean, are you behind the 8 ball already, Martin? Like, watching in the rear view, is it a two-pronged effect? The more wins and the better start Vrabel and the Patriots have, the more indirect pressure on Callahan just because he's almost like a seat filler. And then the offense just didn't show up. But you listen to Simmons' soundbite, you got to have a locked-in week of practice, especially off a game where it was very interesting in that Arizona dance where it went back and forth a little bit and almost was stolen. I just think it's one of those things where Callahan was almost set up to lose, but then it didn't help anything with Vrabel cooking out the gate.
No, that's the problem. Callahan wasn't set up to lose. He was just going to lose. I don't know how many – I pay way too much attention to post-game press conferences, midweek press conferences. Brian Callahan seemed in over his head. I would say – by about week 8 of last year, because weeks 1 through 4, you're giving them the Will Levis grace.
Sure.
So your quarterback is doing things that we have never, ever seen before on a professional football field. This looks like 8th grade football, and I know because I've seen it, right? So we give him some grace for that. But by week 8, it's like, oh, you don't know what's going on here. And then it just became over and more and more and more spilled out. The fact that Mike Vrabel is now cooking with the Patriots and is about to go to Tennessee and smack the dog out of them is going to be, like, it's an embarrassment thing more than a Callahan winning or losing thing. He just definitely didn't win enough for it to matter.
Well said.
Speaking of not winning enough for it to matter, nobody cried when Matt Eberflus got fired, except for maybe, honestly, not even his family. He's there was like, Dad, you get to come back home for a little bit. We'll have you home for Thanksgiving. It'll be great for Christmas, And so, Caleb Williams now it's a new attitude. I actually read a quote from Montez Sweat that said, what's different around Chicago? 3 letters. B-E-N. Ben. Right? So Ben Johnson and the Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears march on down to Commander Field, where one of my buddies who covers the team says there's no Wi-Fi at the stadium, or it wasn't connecting.
5G with it.
Right, exactly. Anyway, that must have been what happened on the fumble that Jayden Daniels and Bill Krosky-Merritt weren't able to exchange in the rain, costing the Commanders the game. But this year, this game is, one of those, they'll always be linked, same draft class. The Bears took Caleb without any questions asked. Just read any of the reporting. Jayden Daniels had the rookie year from, that was amazing. Where do you land on this right here, right now? Caleb Williams, Jayden Daniels.
To me, I got to look at the fit at quarterback with coach, because let's be honest, the more success Cliff Kingsbury has in this Washington offense, the quicker he is to another photo op on draft day in his home with great feng shui and nothing in it. I mean, I think this guy's on his way out, halfway out. He wants to be a head coach again, in my humble opinion. He's done this OC thing several times. He's kind of a quarterback whisperer if you really go through the history with him. With Ben Johnson and Caleb, it's like a match made in heaven, and you just hear Caleb talk high praise after that win. Granted, Washington out of the game sort of buttoned up. They get that fumble, doesn't happen. Maybe we're looking at the painting a little differently. But, 9 tugs, 2 interceptions. He's top 15 in QBR. The numbers aren't unbelievable jumping off the charts for Caleb. I just think it's one of those McVay, Stafford, or even McVay early Goff where it's almost like he's sort of got an Xbox controller, Ben Johnson, indirectly. And if, metaphorically speaking, Caleb will listen with the buttons that he chooses, the plays he calls, even the slide, right, at the last possession of the game and not running out of bounds. Maybe last year Caleb with Eberflus doesn't have the situational awareness. This dude, Ben Johnson, is so next level, and the way they're talking about each other, it's like they're already happily married. Shout out your ring on your left finger, Martin. A couple months removed. But, in all seriousness, it's still a defense, a Dan Quinn coach with an OC that's likely moving on. So, in short, on a long answer, I got to go with Caleb here and Ben just because the fit is a little more jumping out to me. What say you?
So, I'd say, I think, to your point, the fit is what set Jayden Daniels and Cliff Kingsbury and the Commanders off last year. I think what they did, Cliff cut the line, right? So a lot of things, what you hear about these coaches with rookie quarterbacks, they throw a million things at them, right? And then cut down as the season progresses, right? That's why one of the reasons why you expect to see the Bears and Caleb Williams and that offense progress as the season progresses, because they're just going to do the things they're good at and stop doing the things they're bad at. Cliff did that in the offseason. So Jayden Daniels came in week 1 on fire. Here's the thing, though. Tell me if you think this comp is crazy. Jayden Daniels, to me, is like a very, very skinny Lamar Jackson, right? Like Lamar, when you see him, he's thick, he's strong, he's got big leg, big arms, and he can take a lot of punishment. Jayden Daniels is like the slim, fast version of Lamar Jackson. Caleb Williams is like double XL Kyler Murray to me. Like he's look like and just in the way that they like when Kyler takes off and runs, it's explosive. Lamar, when he's running, he's gliding, right? And I see the difference between the two. I think the reason I bring that up is that explosiveness. I think you can't take that away, say due to injury or anything like that. That explosiveness, if you can reel that in and coach that, it takes it to a whole new level. I'm not saying Lamar is not explosive or Jayden Daniels is not explosive. Maybe it's just even a visual thing, but it just maybe I'm not making any sense. Respond to that first before we move on. Yeah, because I don't know if that's crazy to me. I think that Caleb, when you look at him, it's like the ball pops out of his hand. When he plants his foot and runs, his explosion, he's running like a running back, whereas like more like Lamar and Jayden are more like kind of wide receiver-y, like I'm going to get up to speed, it feels like. Now, it doesn't take long to get up to speed, but get up to speed. If you can get a guy like Caleb or Kyler, for that matter, playing on time and on schedule, look out. Because when it's off schedule, it's over.
To wrap it up, the number one team in turnover differential through 6 work weeks, gentlemen, is the Chicago Bears at +8. And that's coaching, and that's detail, and that's prep. Meanwhile, the Commanders are -3 in the negative. We got to go Caleb right now through 6.
So if you take the list right there and you click on that triangle that was pointing down, you make it point up, the team you will see is the New York Jets. The New York Jets, who I believe – now, I didn't full disclosure, didn't wake up at 6:30 a.m. Pacific time and watch all of the game, but I believe have still yet to force a turnover, or if they haven't forced a turnover, it's only been one or two.
They got a turnover. They got one. It finally happened.
So they had to fly. So that's
Praise
what they had
the
to
Lord.
fly all the 6 time zones different to get a turnover and come back. I don't know if they're going to get one in Eastern, Central, or Pacific time. That would be more helpful for the New York Jets.
Yes, still no turnovers in the United States yet this season.
Domestic turnovers.
No domestic turnovers. I am torn. I've never been more torn on this, and I know that I'm right here talking to a Jets fan and a prominent member of the New York media, the MSG Mafia, as they call it, or as I call it today. I've never been more torn on this. I think that Aaron Glenn, I think Aaron Glenn knows ball. I think he knows ball. And what I am seeing on Sunday feels like he doesn't. And I don't understand why. Like that's just the easiest way to frame it. And part of me wants to lean on, you drafted the offensive and defensive rookie of the year in either consecutive drafts or the same year, right? You drafted Quinnen Williams, who was, top 8 defensive tackle in the NFL. This roster is talented. Sauce Gardner, right? This roster is talented. Or is it, right? Like is it, after a while, is it the ingredients or is it the chef? That's kind of where I'm going back and forth.
It feels like their top 8 to 10 players are very, very good, but then the rest of the cast around them is just like not even NFL roster worthy on a lot of teams. And I think that's their main issue there. But I don't know. The guiding question for you guys, I feel like right now with the Jets, though, is do you see Aaron Glenn lasting more than this season? Because, going into the year, even asking that question feels, incomprehensible. Just the fact that they're the Jets and coming off of the Aaron Rodgers experiment, if you will, like it feels like whoever the new coach was going to be, it ended up being Glenn, they were going to get multiple years because this wasn't an overnight turnaround. But the thing is, there's a certain bar you have to clear as a coach. It doesn't matter how talented or not your roster is. There's a certain bar you have to clear as a coach when it comes to the intricacies of actually calling a game.
Well,
like the way they ended that half with the timeouts and not using their timeouts, it just shows you don't understand the flow of the game.
The bar that you need to clear is competency. That's what the bar you need to clear. The bar you need to clear is competency. Do you know what the hell is going on? To fake a punt and then not do anything afterwards, it shows incongruence. It shows a level of incompetence. That does not make sense to me when I think of who Aaron Glenn is. I've known Aaron Glenn, not personally, but I knew him a player. I knew him assistant coach. I paid attention to him. He seems like he should know what he's doing. To answer your question, is Aaron Glenn going to be one and done? Potentially. Here's what needs to be one and done. God bless Tanner Eggstrand. I'll never know how to pronounce your last name because you will need to be a one-and-done offensive coordinator in this league. You guys got into a bidding war for Justin Fields with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everybody's like, how could they have paid so much money for Justin Fields? Because 2 teams wanted him. That's why they paid so much money for him. And this is not Cape for Justin Fields hour, but when you pay him that much money and then drop him back 48 times like he's Peyton Manning instead of running him like the running athletic quarterback he is and was in that 6-game stretch for Pittsburgh, that shows to me, again, competency, incongruency.
My thing is his side of the football is bottom 5. He's right next to the Ravens and the Cowboys, and he's a DC. The offense is right next to the Niners, believe it or not, in all seriousness, in points per game. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, Ian, but like Justin Fields' stat lines, not through the first 6 weeks, maybe for the first 3, weren't a ton of the talking points. It was like, oh, they were scoring. It's like, oh, that was a shootout against Pittsburgh. It was a shootout against Tampa. All we have is a GIF with a song through 6 weeks with this team. But it's almost the same thinking with the Vrabel and the Titans thing we talked about. The more Aaron Rodgers is winning in Pittsburgh, the shorter leash we might have patience-wise for the other Aaron. Because the defense looks horrendous, but then you can also make a point to Martin's thought. It's like Fields is still holding on to the football on Wednesday. I mean, I got up because it was 9:30 for me. I had Denver live money line, and I'm screaming at the Jets. It was like a bizarro Jerry world. I was so pissed because he just, and I don't know what this is, really talking it out. Is Aaron Glenn need to hop onto the other side of the work week practice and start talking offense with Tanner? Because we know Steve Wilkes to be an otherwise solid DC as well. So it's almost a conundrum. It's like, dude, what did Broadway Joe do to sell his soul to win one ring? They're cursed.
I agree they're cursed. I agree Broadway Joe sold his soul. But I will say I don't think Steve Wilkes deserves some benefit of the doubt for being a great DC. The Niners fired him. He was a clear downgrade off of remember, they were cooking on defense with Saleh and D'Amico Ryans, and then they brought in Steve Wilkes, and that was a clear downgrade. And then Wilkes also, there's just, in recent years, he hasn't been anywhere near what his reputation still seems to keep him as. And again, what you've been saying, their defenses look terrible. Wilkes is the play caller for that. Glenn obviously deserves some flack, and that's his side of the ball, and he's going to have to, take accountability for that. But I think if I'm Aaron Glenn, there comes a point this season where you need to start calling defensive plays. You need to take that from Wilkes, whether you announce that publicly or not, because he's making you look bad.
Well,
that's what I see.
This is what it is. There has to be a culture of accountability. And with Dan Campbell, from day one, we were all laughing with biting kneecaps and all of this and that, but you could tell he instilled accountability from day one, right? And so that's why he fired his first offensive coordinator. Ben Johnson was a tight ends coach and got promoted from within. Aaron Glenn was a position coach and got promoted from within, right? These guys, he developed that culture and then went up there every time and took the blame. But then also, too, like when it wasn't working, he started calling plays. When it wasn't, and then handed it off to Ben Johnson. So to that point,
remember,
if you're going to be a culture head coach, he fired Anthony Lynn. I couldn't remember exactly. If you're going to be
Lynn and promoted Ben Johnson.
If you're going to be a culture head coach, you have to hold the culture and yourself accountable.
So then, on that thought, to put a button on it, is Aaron Glenn, because Martin, you started by saying he is a knower of ball. We know he is. He was a lockdown corner at his position in his heyday.
For the Jets.
Does he need to let go of Wilkes then and take over the play calling? Because I'm sitting here, it's almost like an oxymoron. It's like the defense is worse than the offense statistically, but then 9 sacks and Fields holding on the rock and not even going with the Nick Folk field goal, whether he misses or he makes. It's just, it seems like it is both things. But if you're going to give Aaron a leash, I feel like somebody has to go. And I hate that it's maybe Wilkes. But I mean, again, bottom 5B, not bottom 5-0, gentlemen.
The defense did at least look better in London.
They did. They looked very, I mean, that was a winnable game. They did cover the spread, too.
Exactly, they did. And it was the offense that couldn't get anything going. I know we need to move on here, but this
to your question,
a good therapy session.
This is what I was. Do you want to say what did the Jets need to do, or what I would do if I was in charge of the Jets right now?
You go first.
I trade deadlines in 3 weeks. Everybody's got a week and a half to make this roster. Because I mean, obviously,
August.
It's fair. I'm just asking. Yeah.
But like the Justin Fields, like if you have a market out there for you, you have a week and a half to make this roster. And
any of you feel like Justin Fields is to blame? We didn't even touch on Fields. Is he driving you nuts? What is he, 14-33 at this point?
He's a little smoke and mirrors when you look at his stats. He hasn't thrown an interception this year. Like, that makes him sound a little better than he's been. Because you watched the London game. He was holding on to the ball. Like you said, he's still holding on to the ball to this day. Like, he wasn't getting rid of it. The offensive line, he's making them look bad. And they're not.
Is he an NBA stat stuffer then? Is he is he Julius Randle?
Not on purpose.
Not on the Knicks, and I can speak freely?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm shooting Justin Fields a little bail because I think that in the right system, he can be a productive quarterback. My question is, why did you pay him all that money if you're not going to play him in that system?
That was a terrible – now they're hamstrung. All right, ending it here. If you had to let go of Glenn, Wilkes, Tanner, or replace Fields, what are you gentlemen doing right now?
Honestly,
in the short term,
in the short term.
In the short term, I think the first step out of all of those is to maybe not fire Wilkes yet, but to demote play calling duties and at least have Glenn take that over. And again, the defense looked improved against Denver in the London game, so maybe Wilkes gets another week, see if that continues. But man, they have not won a game yet, and they're the only team that can still say that. So I don't know, man. The clock's ticking.
My easy answer.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm putting in Tyrod Taylor for a win against the Panthers, which won't happen because Tyrod Taylor would have won that football game. He's not the answer, but it was one of those, my goodness, can we get a veteran to just move the ball 30 yards? How many veterans could have moved that ball 30 yards for a game-winning field goal? And Fields got Garrett Wilson injured. Martin.
I'm trading Sauce Gardner. Seeing what I can get.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but it's at least got to be a conversation.
I'm trading.
It's at least got to be a conversation.
I'm trading
because of the value you get back.
I'm looking at Buffalo. I'm looking at the Rams. Listen, you guys got nobody out there that can cover a soul. Let me get a high second.
There's no way. There's no shot they trade him to Buffalo. That would be the dumbest thing you could do. Trading your best player to a division rival, 2-time All-Pro. There's no shot. Maybe someone.
Whoever you pick. Honestly, trading within division shouldn't be as frowned upon as it should, but that's a conversation for another day. This one should be frowned upon, though, because Cleveland was just, we are going to give up. They benched their week 1 starter, traded him to Cincinnati, and Mike Tomlin not happy about it. It's the Icy Hot Bowl. Aaron Rodgers and Joe Flacco. The combined ages of quarterbacks in this game, 82 years and X amount of days. I didn't count that much out. But they're old in his game. Flacco, as you like to say, picked them up from carpool, ended up in Cincinnati. Aaron Rodgers did the snip, snap with Justin Fields. It's been in Pittsburgh, and now, much like when Pittsburgh and Justin Fields were together, they're atop the division. Now, it didn't end that way for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Joe Flacco has been around the block more than a few times.
You know Tomlin is irate at Cleveland right now. That Andrew Berry soundbite, you're getting in the way of our division. The Ravens are flopping. They're blowing it. This is an uncharted territory where this Steelers team and their schedule, as you look at it, it ain't the first 6 weeks that it is in the last 6 weeks. It gets a little spooky. This is a trap game written all over it because Tomlin has danced against Flacco in now 3 AFC North uniforms, Martin, and he knows what he is. 5.5 points already is a fishy line. To me, I'm taking the Bengals with my eyes closed on a sell high off the Steelers. I just think Joe Flacco mucks up the entire division in the grossest way possible. Like you're playing, I don't know, tackle football, and all of a sudden with your boys it starts raining and anything can happen. That's Flacco on the Bengals. B- example there, but it's what I'm trying to put down.
I'll say this. A few weeks ago, Mike Tomlin said something that made my eyebrows raise. He talked about how when Anthony Richardson was the starter in Indianapolis, he told his defensive players to keep Richardson upright because he didn't want to see the backup. Keep Richardson upright. And guess what? Anthony Richardson got hurt in the first quarter of that game. In comes Joe Flacco. Guess what? Steelers lose.
dark. I'm telling you, Tomlin he knows what's happening right now, and the Browns, that is like, what would you even call that? Friendly fire in the division? Barry just cooked everybody.
I'd call it quitting if I was the Cleveland Browns. I'd call it quitting. And I brought this up the other day. Joe Flacco's got to be the first quarterback ever to just outright win two different quarterback competitions in the same year. He didn't compete for the starting job in Cleveland, right? That was his. The whole conversation all offseason was who's going to be the backup in Cleveland, right? Shador, Dylan Gabriel. Ooh, Shador, Dylan Gabriel, right? And then he goes to Cincinnati. Before he even lands, Zach Taylor says, yes, in fact, he will be our starter. He won two different competitions without even having to compete. And you know what? I think you're right. I think he's going to cover the spread here. I think he's going to cover the spread. If no other reason, Mike Tomlin is scared. And if Mike Tomlin is scared, then I am scared.
Absolutely. And he brought in two cover corners. Slay, obviously Joey Porter Jr.'s got the hype, but Ramsey, tall corners, because you got to go against Chase and you got to go against Higgins. So, yeah, this is music to Cincy's ears, just in the sense of AFC North friendly competition, because Pittsburgh knows they're going to drop a game against the Bengals when they should have just boat raced them 0-2.
Speaking of 0-2, that will not be the interdivision record for the New England Patriots against the Buffalo Bills. And I know we all watched that game Sunday night. I know we had the coronation of Drake May as the next thing, but watching that game and then looking at the standings, I realized it's October 15th, and neither the Bills, the Lions, or the Chiefs are in first place in their division. And not only that, the Kansas City Chiefs, if the season ended today, would be watching it on the couch, the playoffs on the couch, just like you and me.
It's surreal, Martin.
Of those three things, which do you think has the best chance to flip?
Well, let me just read you the odds. This is not a sponsored sportsbook show yet, so we can shop around. But right now, the Packers are the chalk in the North at even money. The Lions are plus 160. The Chiefs, despite being outside looking in, are the chalk at plus 125. Chargers 2-1, Broncos plus 250. And the Bills, despite being tied with the Pats, are minus 230, Patriots plus 185. So in short, in English, Vegas is saying Bills should wrap it up. Chiefs should still wrap it up, divisionally speaking. But it's the Lions essentially already to lose because it's the Packers now in the driver's seat. I got to go with the Bills. This is just by process of elimination. The Patriots, are they going to cool down? Are they going to calm down? I'm not quite sure. They do have a pretty easy schedule. Buffalo's gone against nobody. I hate McDermott. I don't know him. He bothers me. He irks me. I think Allen's he's carrying him. His back hurts because how mediocre McDermott is. That's what I call him. But you have to just look at the NFC North, Martin. It's arguably the best division in football. That's going to be beating each other up all year, right? You could kind of make the same case with already the Broncos and Chargers, how they dance. You saw the Raiders and Chargers. You saw the Chiefs and Chargers in week one. They beat up on each other. So I don't know that the Chiefs are necessarily going to cakewalk. I would probably bet on all three of these teams to eventually win their division. I'm not going to ever tell anyone to lay 230 to win 100 back. I just think the Bills are probably going to right the ship. If they don't, my goodness, pass the baton with no hardware. That's rough. I'd go short answer Chiefs if we weren't betting it. If we were betting it value-wise, I'd go Lions plus 160.
So, yeah, the betting value's in the Lions. I also think that, in terms of getting up to first place in their division, the value's also in the Lions. I think the Bills have real problems. This is not to say the Patriots are any great shakes. I think the Bills do have real problems stopping the run. And if you can't stop the run, it's going to be really hard to win football games, especially as the weather gets colder. And if Josh Allen is not Superman, then it's going to be hard for them to win games. And he's been Superman a lot, so that might just stay that way. Kansas City is making the playoffs. They're not going to win the division. They're going to make the playoffs. And I think right now, this conversation around these AFC teams, we're talking about 5 of the AFC playoff teams right here. We're talking about the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Broncos, the Bills, and the Patriots, right? So I think AFC West is going to be a 3-team league, and AFC South. Thanks for coming out.
Now, do you feel like there's anything glaring in any of these divisions thus far that will stay? Like, do we see the Lions as a wild card team? Do we see the Bills as a wild card team? I can't get there yet, but we're through a month and a half of the season.
Of the two, Lions or Bills, I think Buffalo has the better shot to be a wild card.
I think you're right, and that's sickening.
Well, here's the thing, and I'll do it quick. Buffalo has a better chance to be the wild card if you're doing Lions and Bills because the Packers also have a rough schedule. The Lions have a rough schedule. The Bills have a rough schedule by virtue of doing good last year, right? The Patriots were terrible last year and have rebuilt a kind of thing. They're going to have so many tomato cans down the stretch, already one game up. Miami and New York are not going to factor into the division. So as long as Buffalo continues to have like these out-of-division games, like where you struggle with in Atlanta, why not New England?
And all right, so to close out the show here, I've got a list of the NFL's top 10 receiving yards leaders since October of 2015, so exactly 10 years. I want to see how many you guys can get in 5 minutes. The 10 NFL players with the most receiving yards over the past 10 years. Set a 5-minute timer here for you guys. Ready and go.
A lot of fun.
Wrong answers count or no? Sorry.
Yeah, we get 3 strikes, right? 3 strikes?
Yeah, you get 3 strikes, but you guys are allowed to discuss it and stuff. Not going to be weird about the rules like last week.
My first instinct on this list is Antonio Brown, but it's been a few years since he's been in the league.
I co-sign on it.
Yeah, let's do it.
You're guessing Antonio Brown? That's actually your first strike. Antonio Brown is not on the list. I would have thought he would be as well, but he is not.
This is a little bit of a stretch, but I think we're safe. Mike Evans.
Mike Evans is number 2. Well done. Mike Evans is number 2. Yep.
Well, just because I had
1,000-yard streak alive.
Like a couple of years doesn't count because, But Mike Evans.
I mean, he's having 1,000 yards every season he's been in the league is a pretty safe.
So that's the way.
So he's number 2. There's one guy ahead of him.
That's the way to think about it. Who's been in the league for 8 or 9 more years? Who's still cooking? To that point, Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams is number 1. Nice job.
Great guess.
All right, so you have 1 and 2, Devontae Adams and Mike Evans.
All right, Martin, do we throw in our guys T.O. or Randy just for good measure, or is it too close? You don't think so?
They didn't play long enough. You got to remember the cutoff is 2015, right? So
right.
think from now back, like that's why Mike Evans was a great guess. You got to think like the last few years, who was really cooking, and you know what? Honestly, put a pin in this one. Would not be surprised to see Brandon Cooks somewhere around 8, 9, or 10 on this list. Just from from the timing to you know what I'm saying. He's played that whole time.
All right, I feel comfortable with it, but you got to co-sign Tyreek Hill in this. I think he's in this.
Gotta be.
Tyreek Hill.
Is that a guess?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill is number 3, so you guys have the top 3 on the list right now.
Unlike the Olympic
you have 3 minutes
last
left.
Week.
3 minutes left on the clock. So.
All right, dude, let's get it.
So if it's Tyreek, 2015, you know what? This year, October 15th of this year, this might make it cut the list. AJ Brown feels like he should be up here. Tennessee plus
Brown's
Philly.
not on the list, though. I did see him. He just missed the list. I think he's around 15 or something like that, but no, not in the top 10. 2.5 minutes left.
How about our guy Cooper Kupp? Enough production, you think?
You know what? I don't think so. If this was a single season list, then I could get with you. But a decade,
Let's go with
I don't
Cooper
think
Cup
so.
likes. Anyone on that thought? Edelman, Welker, any Brady, any slot guy, any.
When did
Welker's
Fitz
too long
retire?
ago.
When did Larry Fitzgerald retire?
Ooh, great
Larry
thought.
Fitzgerald
I
played
don't
with
know.
Kyler Murray, right?
Yeah.
But he was done then.
I'm not gonna be upset with you if you throw Fitz out. We only have two. We have 2 lifelines still, or 2 guesses left. 2 strikes left.
You have 1 strike so far.
Yeah, 2 left. Yeah. Okay. Throw out Fitz. I don't hate it.
No, there's a better one. There's something that's staring me in the face that I can't think of. It's got to be. I mean, so we got right now. When did CeeDee Lamb come out? 2017.
You have a minute and a half left.
Oh, we gotta start throwing stuff.
I feel better with CD than I do.
All right.
Fitzgerald.
All right. Throw out CD.
Lamb.
Nope, that's strike 2. I think CeeDee Lamb was drafted in 2020 something.
Oh, he
Too
was
late.
2020 because he's
Definitely
sitting
not.
there at home and he snatches his phone from his girlfriend. Oh.
Yeah.
We need old heads. Oh man.
Justin Jefferson didn't play long enough. Jamar Chase probably hasn't played long enough.
Nope.
Got a minute left.
Minute left. Like Odell, not even close. But like from that era.
This was tough. Julio Jones.
Julio Jones. There you go. That's number 9 on the list.
I was trying to think, like, good teams don't. A lot of times these dominant receivers don't make it far into the playoffs. Julio Jones.
Man.
This is embarrassing.
Man.
Are there any tight ends?
Everyone
on the
else, I'll say everyone else on the list was playing as recently as last year. And there is 1 tight end on the list.
Really?
Kelsey.
Yep, Travis Kelce's number 4.
Great guess. Great guess.
You're missing 5, 6, 7, 8, and
They
10.
all played recently.
As recently as last year.
10 seconds.
Oh, dude, we're falling flat.
Just for my own sake, is Brandon Cooks on this list?
Brandon Cooks is number 10. At the buzzer,
Wow.
you got Brandon 10.
Waddle?
All right.
No, just kidding.
Waddle
So that's
might be on
time.
there.
You got Brandon Cooks. It was not out on strikes this time. He just ran out of time. So I'll give you guys the rest of them. Number 5 was Stephon Diggs.
Oh.
Number 6 was DeAndre Hopkins. Number 7 was Amari Cooper.
Oh.
Number 8 was Keenan Allen.
Oh, I'm going for a walk, dude.
Yeah, so just to rerun over the top
is-
10, I'll have it up on the screen, but Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Julio Jones, and Brandon Cooks rounds out the top 10.
That's
Good job, guys. You actually got a lot of them, and at least you got the top few. Like, if you were going to miss any, at least it wasn't the most egregious ones to have missed.
Dude,
Know what I mean?
how did Brandon Cooks sneak on this list?
I'm sick.
Gotta
We
love
didn't
that.
have the second coming of Stump the Schwab on our program in Martin. I'd be a little all right with it, but we should have gotten 7.